I'm Paul Stevens. I'm a retired band director. I was in McKinney High for 35 years. I was the director of bands here at McKinney High School from 1986 to 2000. When I came to McKinney High School in 1986, the program didn't have a very strong recent history, so it was really important that we tried to do some things to get the community involved. Very early in that process, we did a show based around the Wizard of Oz. And at that time, there was a student in particular and his family who became very involved in helping us build sets for the show. And that was Brian Smith, and his mother, Linda Smith, was very instrumental in that process. The idea for the piece really started when I was at the Pecan Grove Cemetery Memorial Day service that happens every year. And one of the speakers was telling a story about all the flags that are on the graves. And I quickly realized that they were talking about Brian, and I knew that he had lost his life in the Army in Iraq. But I did not know that his Eagle Scout project was putting those flags on the soldiers' graves in Pecan Grove. And so I literally got chills listening to the speaker tell the story. And at that moment, I thought, I gotta do something. That's basically where the dream started, where the idea started. Brian was a very, very unique individual. The thing I appreciated the most about him, and so many people have said this since, is his sense of humor. Very, very keen sense of humor, kind of dry, very witty, just really, really fun to be around, a really funny guy. And as a matter of fact, he loved Monty Python, and he taught me how to say which is what the knights who say knee switched to after they no longer said knee. He taught me that. I can't do it as well as he could, but I still can hear him in my imagination saying that. And he tried to teach me the Ballad of Brave Sir Robin, and he would do that by dancing and prancing around the band hall with his coconuts as horse hooves. But I never learned it. I couldn't learn it. I was too busy laughing. But that then became one of the things that I really wanted to get into this piece in his honor. I wanted to be sure that the Ballad of Brave Sir Robin was in there, and I wanted to be sure that something from The Wizard of Oz. So I chose Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and the piece kind of starts with that. It starts with a trumpet and a French horn, performing little bits and pieces of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, symbolic of Brian playing those instruments for us, and now from afar. And as this piece started to unfold, I thought, well, I've got to find something that was really special to Brian. So I reached out to his mother, and she mentioned that he really loved the Seal tune, Kiss from a Rose. And so I started thinking about that. It kind of fit, because he loved anything that had to do with the Renaissance and the medieval era, and that has a real Renaissance, medieval kind of feel to it. His mother also mentioned Follow Me Boys, which was an old Fred McMurray movie about scouting. And he was a scout, his whole life, and basically scouting was one of his passions. So that was a perfect choice as well. And then I put little hints of the McKinney fight song and school song in there to honor his service here to the school. The greatest challenge of this whole endeavor was trying to do a solemn tribute to honor his service and just the gravity of losing his life for us, basically, in service, with his sense of humor. And every time I talked to his mother about what it should be, she always said he needs to be funny. He would want it to be funny. And so trying to mix humor with just like I said, the gravity of the piece was an extreme challenge. And so obviously did not lean too heavily toward the humor side of things, but it's throughout. There's just little hints of his personality throughout the piece. In thinking back why I now decided to do this, I kind of look at the same way Brian, realized the time was running out for him to do something for his country. I was running out of time to do something for Brian. And I recently, was inspired by the fact that Mr. Fisher was kind of bringing the history of Royal Pride more into focus and is really making an effort to celebrate our history. So I realized the 20th anniversary of Brian's sacrifice, all of this research into the Royal Pride history, the time was now. So it was just a perfect setup. The way that I would describe Brian Smith's legacy to Royal Pride as a founding member of what we call Royal Pride is just somebody who was always there for his fellow member and for his community and never thought of himself first.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Director of Band at McKinney High School, Ballad.